You know, we've all had one. That classic ABC book. A is for apple. Z is for zebra. It's probably one of the very first books you ever held. But what if I told you that inside that simple kid's book, there's a fascinating scientific secret and even a story of political revolution? Yeah, really. Let's dive in.
Okay, so first, let's start with what we all know, right? The modern alphabet book. You see them everywhere on pretty much every kid's bookshelf. They're always full of bright colors, and they all follow this simple but really powerful formula for learning.
Yep, pages just like this. Super familiar. You've got your letter, here it's A, you've got a simple word, alien, and then a fun, colorful picture. The whole point is to make it simple, easy to remember, and just, grab a kid's attention.
And it doesn't matter if it's an alien or the classic apple, or B for bag, C for cat, that basic formula, letter, word, picture, it's become one of the most powerful tools we have for teaching the absolute basics of language. But have you ever stopped to think about why that's so powerful? I mean, it seems almost too simple, doesn't it? A letter and a picture? Well, there's a really deep reason it works so well. And it's not just because the drawings are cute. It's all about how our brains are literally wired to learn. So what is the secret sauce here? Well, the real magic is happening inside our brains. There's kind of this hidden code for learning, and we're about to unlock it. Let's look at why pairing a letter with an image is just such a knockout teaching strategy.
Okay, it all comes down to this cool concept called dual coding theory. Now, the big idea is pretty straightforward. Your brain processes information through two totally separate channels. You've got one for language, the verbal stuff, and another one for images, the visual stuff. Think of it like two lanes on a highway, both heading to the same place, understanding. So here's the key part. When your brain sees the word boat, B-O-A-T, it uses that verbal lane. But when it sees a picture of a boat, wham, the visual lane lights up. Two completely different pathways get to work.
And this is where the magic happens. When you show the word and the picture at the same time, you're not just using one lane anymore, you're using both. It's like you're creating a superhighway in your memory. That connection becomes so much stronger, so much stickier. It makes remembering things way, way easier.
And get this isn't some newfangled idea. We're talking ancient wisdom here. The philosopher Aristotle was talking about this over 2,000 years ago. He basically said that thinking is impossible without a picture in your head. So people have known for a long, long time just how powerful visuals are.
So now that we know the science behind it, the history is even cooler. Let's jump in our time machine and go way back, long before we had glossy books and bright cartoons, to see what the very first ABC books actually looked like.
Our little trip back in time starts way back in the 1400s with something called the Hornbook. Then we'll check out the Battledore and finally the Primer. Believe it or not, these things were the ancestors of the ABC books we have today.
All right, first up, the Hornbook. And right away, you'll notice it's not a book at all. It was actually a wooden paddle. They'd stick a piece of paper on it with the alphabet and usually a prayer, and then cover it with a super thin, clear sheet made from an animal's horn. That's where the name comes from. It was simple, sure, but it was also incredibly tough. And for tons of kids, this was the very first time they ever saw the written word. But things change. Over time, these learning tools got an upgrade. That heavy wooden paddle was eventually replaced by something a lot lighter, cheaper, and, frankly, a bit more fun. The Battledore.
So the Battledore was basically just a folded piece of cardboard. But here's the game changer. It had pictures, just for fun. This was a huge deal. All of a sudden, you're seeing illustrations of a mouse for M or a jester for J. It was a slow move away from just religious lessons and a step towards making learning feel a little more like a game. And all of this eventually led to the first real books. And that's when things got serious. The alphabet wasn't just for learning your letters anymore. Oh no. It became a super powerful way to teach kids about values, morals, and even politics. Which brings us to the New England Primer. You have to understand, for more than 100 years, this was the textbook in America. It used these simple little rhymes to drill the moral and religious values of the day into kids' heads. And the lessons could be pretty intense. Take this famous one for the letter A. It's a perfect example. And the pictures that went with it? They were these gloomy woodcut illustrations, basically reminding kids about sin and death right from the get-go. Yikes. Now this is where it gets really fascinating. You can see just how influential this book was because it literally changed with the politics of the time. Check this out. Before the American Revolution, the rhyme for the letter K was all about praising the King of England. But after the Revolution, nope. In the new edition, they swapped it out for a Bible story about how rebels get punished. The ABC book had become a straight-up political tool.
But at the same time that these super serious books were out there, something else was happening. A more playful trend was starting to pop up. You had other books, like this one, that use the alphabet to tell a fun little story. Like this one, where each letter follows what happens to an apple pie. It turned learning into a fun, memorable game.
And that really brings us full circle, right back to the alphabet books we see today. They're all part of this long, amazing history of education and imagination. So, we started our journey with the horn book, right? Just a simple piece of wood and paper built for one thing and one thing only, to teach the alphabet.
And look where we are now. Today, alphabet books are like these little windows into entire worlds. They're overflowing with incredible art and just endless imagination. They're not just there to teach anymore. They're designed to make kids fall in love with reading.
But here's the thing. Even with all the incredible changes in technology and art, that core idea we talked about at the beginning, that dual coding theory, it's still the exact same principle at work. That powerful brain-boosting combo of a word and a picture, that's the secret. That's why the ABC book has stuck around for so long.
So think about it. We've gone from wooden paddles to interactive apps on touchscreens. The alphabet book is always changing, always adapting. It really makes you wonder, right? With technology changing how we learn every single day, what's the next evolution? What will A be for in the future?